Okay, what else for promo packets? Oh, another place I found that worked out pretty well is, I call it the morning meeting clubs. I don't know what the real name of them is, but one of them is called BNI, Business Network International. Every major city has a chapter of them. Now that's one you're allowed to go free once, and I think you have to pay $10 a month, to belong to it. But again, I didn't belong. I just went to the free one. When you go to this meeting, usually what it is, like a breakfast meeting, and most of the times, and at this breakfast meeting, before they start, everybody has like 2 minutes. They go around the table and gives a spiel of what they do. So you'll have accountants, lawyers, bankers, all kinds of small businesses, and some middle-sized businesses. So you do your thing, and again, I didn't give a spiel. I usually cut up and say, "Hi, my name's Rainey with the Southern Maine Hypnosis. Let me show you something." Everybody take your hands and put them like this. And I did my little suggestibility test with the rubber band, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, and it would freak them out, and when I'd leave, they'd remember me. But the nice thing about it is, before I left that breakfast meeting, usually 1 or 2 of these people come up to me and they would ask me to go to their other breakfast meetings. Some of these go to 3 or 4 of these. Some are BNI, some aren't BNI. So in a matter of 2 weeks, I went to like 5 of these just from going to the one BNI meeting, because people asked me to go to the other ones. I got a lot of business referral from that as well, because I was handing out the packets, okay? So this is way you can get yourself out there. This is way you can get your name out there. It's very inexpensive, but it's going to get you leads right away. Now, for those of you that have a budget, again, the best way to start, besides doing this, of course, this is all freebie, put newspaper ads out there. Okay, newspaper ads are your bread and butter. Now that's a whole topic of conversation, different topic of conversation. But some of the best newspaper ads that I ran were very simple. Whatever it was, smoking, stress, confidence, whatever. So I'd say, let's say it was smoking, quit smoking. My standard words were easily and permanently with hypnosis. Then a phone number. That simple. Quit smoking easily and permanently with hypnosis. Got me more business. Now, I like to put a picture. I always put a picture in the background. For the smoking, I would put, one of those do not symbols. It's a circle with a bar going through it, and behind it was like a broken cigarette. So if it's stress, you might have a picture of a cartoon character faded out so they can see the words, maybe biting his fingernails, whatever you... Something that captures. I like the cartoons because they're easier on print and they catch people's attention. Remember, when people are looking through print, they're just looking for what they want. You have to have an ad that's going to stand out, jump out at them. Yes, I always did a picture ad, at least a few inches. You don't want to have a print ad in the want ads, because people aren't going to really notice that. So that's what I have for you for today for the marketing. There's some good stuff to get started with. And what I'll do now is, I haven't had a chance to read a lot of these messages, so if you have questions on anything I said so far, go ahead and let me see, and we'll start talking about them. Should we charge less with this economy right now, or have you found it not affecting hypnosis profession? If you charge less, it's going to hurt your business. My motto is, the person who charges the most is the best practitioner. Okay? We know that's not true. But if you had something you wanted to do, you wanted to quit smoking, it was your last resort, you had a choice of, you're looking in the newspaper, a $50 hypnotist, a $60 hypnotist, and a $150 hypnotist, who do you think is going to do the best job? The $150. Now, if you came to see me and I was charging you, let's say, $300 a session, and you walked out and you had a craving to have a cigarette, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to take that cigarette and you're going to be bringing it up and you're going to go, ooh, that's $300. You see, there's more commitment and you'll stop. If it was a $50 hypnotist, nah. If you pay little for something, it's worth little. If you pay nothing for something, it's worth nothing. Never do a session for free, because it's worth nothing. The more you charge, the more important it is, the more commitment. You need a commitment. So, do I think the economy is going to hurt anything? No. This is going to sound funny. One of my best places for smoking advertising was actually on the cable television, not the regular commercials, but you ever seen the community bulletin board that comes up? Usually there's music, like radio in the background, and they'll be advertising bean suppers, and they'll be advertising Joe the plumber, or different things like that. It comes up and there's just words on the screen for about 10 seconds, and another thing comes up. I used to advertise on that. It only cost like $150 a month. It would come up, my ad would come up for a few seconds, maybe every half hour. And it would say, quit smoking easily and permanently with hypnosis. Now this thing would be going on all night long. So think of it, who is up at 1 o'clock in the morning watching television, watching this? Because everything else is off the air, so they're just listening to the music, watching, smoking their cigarette. People who are unemployed, people who are having health problems, or what, you know, so all these shut-ins have nothing better to do than watch TV, are seeing your advertisement, and most of them are smoking. So I got a lot of clients. I think my first week I advertised in there, I had 17 sessions booked from advertising 1 week. Now this was years ago, but people can come up with it. Think of it, if people can afford cigarettes, they can afford the price of your sessions, because cigarettes now around here are like $10 a pack. So the way I look at it is to quit smoking doesn't cost them anything. You're going to pay for it either way. At least with me, you're going to pay me, but you're going to quit. So no, don't worry about the economy. The economy is only a problem for other people. Charge what you think you're worth. How do you get around someone's reluctance to use a hypnotist with little or no experience? Okay, let me ask you this. Other than you, how would your clients know that you have little or no experience? Think about that. If you need a doctor, you go through the yellow pages, or you go wherever you're going to go, you look up doctors. And the yellow pages, it doesn't say who has experience. It just has the doctors. Have you ever gone into a doctor's office and said, can I see your credentials? You know, I mean, most people don't even look at their certificates. I think in all the years I've been in business, no one has ever looked at one of my certificates other than other hypnotherapists. Okay? So people won't know you're new unless you tell them. Okay? What I tell my students, now everybody's going to know this, sorry students, but when you start out in business brand new, what you should do is call around, find out what your competitors are charging, and charge $20 more. Okay, now again, you have to feel like you're worth it, okay, because you need the confidence. But that's going to make you the best in the, the best in the game right away. I mean, whether you're new or not, if you had a good trainer, if you went through a good course, when you graduated, you should know how to do this, okay? If you don't, then take another course, okay? But you practice on your family and friends, but again, even doctors, what do they call their business? They call it a practice. You're constantly practicing, so you should get paid for it. Let's see. Groups. Notoriously, groups aren't as successful as an individual session because, again, with an individual session, you're testing people to see if they're analytical or non-analytical and hypnotizing them according to their mindset. Whereas in a group, you can only do it one way, and we usually do it the non-analytical way because that's the majority of society. Okay, so no, it's not going to be as successful. And of course, with a group, usually, if you're just doing a group once, within 3 to 5 days, people are going to be back at the normal way of thinking, the majority of them, because you haven't developed a habit of being a non-smoker. How can you get around that? If you did a group session and gave the people a CD or an MP3, a follow-up type thing that they listen to, it just needs to be a 10-minute thing that they can listen to every day on their own, that will build a habit. You tell them listen to it every day for about 30 days. After 30 days, you will be a non-smoker. Because that's how the mind works. You need to keep suggestions going to your subconscious mind consistently without missing in order to build a habit. After all, how did they start smoking to begin with? They built a habit to start smoking. It's interesting when you ask people the very first cigarette you ever smoked, did you enjoy it? Of course they didn't. They were coughing and they were choking. It wasn't enjoyable. Smoke going up their nose. But guess what? They did it again. And they did it again. And it became less and less difficult. And eventually they started to enjoy it. And that's how a habit is built. That's about all we have time for tonight. And again, like I said, if you haven't got the manual, go ahead and get it. So with that, thanks a lot. Have a great night.